What if the spiritual path you've been following is only telling you half the truth? Hermeticism says the universe is mental, that you can master your reality by mastering your mind. Gnosticism claims this entire world is a lie, a cosmic prison designed to keep your soul asleep. Both systems promise enlightenment, but they describe completely opposite realities. So who's right? In this video, we're going to put two of the most powerful esoteric traditions head to head, the Kybalion and Gnosticism. One empowers you to transform your life. The other urges you to wake up and escape the trap. But buried beneath their teachings is a deeper mystery. And could it be that both of them got something completely wrong about reality? Two of the most popular spiritual teachings in the world completely contradict each other, and yet millions follow both, often without realizing what that actually means. On one side, we have the Kybalion, a text that emerged in the early 20th century, claiming to encapsulate the ancient wisdom of hermeticism. But let's be clear, it's not hermeticism in its original ancient form. Instead, it's a modern interpretation, one that presents the universe as mental, where everything is shaped by thought, and the laws of the universe are based on principles you can learn and apply. The Kybalion is all about mentalism, vibration, correspondence, and polarity, principles that promise mastery of your environment and reality. On the other side, we have Gnosticism, a spiritual system that emerged centuries earlier. It tells a much darker story. According to Gnostics, this world is an illusion, created not by a benevolent God, but by a lower, ignorant, or even malevolent being, the demiurge. For Gnostics, the goal is not to transform the world through mastery, but to escape it, to awaken to the hidden divine knowledge, Gnosis, that reveals the truth of your divine spark and transcends the false reality of the material world. These two worldviews could not be more different. The Kybalion suggests you can transform the world around you. Gnosticism says the world itself is the problem, and liberation comes from breaking free of it. But here's the kicker. Both of them claim to offer the truth, the hidden knowledge of reality. As we dig deeper, we'll start to see some of the cracks in their teachings, and we'll explore whether there's a third way, one that combines the best of both without the flaws. According to the Kybalion, the world isn't physical in the way we normally think. It's mental. Everything you see, touch, and experience is a projection of mind. Not just your personal mind, but the all, an infinite, unknowable source that thinks the universe into being. The implication is clear. If the world is made of thought, you can reshape it by mastering thought. Illness, poverty, suffering. These are not fixed conditions, but malleable patterns that can be transmuted through mental discipline. Gnosticism sees the world through an entirely different lens. It teaches that this reality was not created by the true God, but by a lesser, blind force called the demiurge. This being, ignorant of the higher realms, created the material world as a flawed imitation. In this view, the physical world is not sacred. It's a prison, a dense simulation designed to trap divine souls in matter. The pleasures, distractions, even the laws of nature, all are mechanisms to keep you asleep. So which is it? A divine hologram waiting to be mastered? Or a cleverly designed cage meant to keep you from ever realizing what you truly are? One path invites you to dive deeper into life and shape it from within. The other urges you to wake up and see that the very game you've been trying to win may have never been fair. If the world is either a playground or a prison, then the next question is obvious. Who built it, and can they be trusted? The Kybalion teaches that everything begins and ends with the All, an infinite, unknowable source behind all existence. It's not a God in the personal sense. It has no personality, no desires, no judgments. It simply is. From this absolute mental force, all things emerge: worlds, minds, energies, polarities. And because the all is in everything, nothing is truly separate. Even pain and conflict are just aspects of a greater harmony, playing out according to cosmic law. That's why in Hermetic thought, there's no real evil, only contrast, only polarity. What we call good and bad are two ends of the same spectrum, two sides of the same vibration. You're not here to judge reality. You're here to understand it, align with it, and use its principles to evolve. Gnosticism sees the divine very differently. It says the true God, often called the monad, is completely beyond this world, beyond thought, beyond form, beyond comprehension. But the God that created this universe, that's not the monad. That's the demiurge, a lower being who thinks he's God but isn't. He created the material world out of ignorance, or in some versions, out of pride. The result is a distorted fallen reality, a copy of a higher realm, but one riddled with suffering and falsehood. To the Gnostic, the divine spark lives within you, but it's trapped. The true God isn't found by mastering the world. He's remembered only by escaping it. So we're left with two completely different views of the divine. One says God is everywhere, in all things, and all is ultimately one. The other says the God of this world is a fraud, and the real divinity waits far beyond anything you can see. But if one system says you are divine, and the other says you're being controlled by a false God, then what does that make you? A creator or a captive? Let's find out. If you're living in a mental universe, as the Kybalion claims, then you're not just some passive observer drifting through reality. You are, in essence, a miniature version of the All, a spark of divine mind. The principles that govern the cosmos also govern your mind, and if you understand them, you can wield them. This is the path of the magician, the mental alchemist. You're not here to escape life, but to master it, transmuting lower vibrations into higher ones, aligning with cause and effect, learning to generate outcomes rather than suffer them. In this system, your thoughts matter, your beliefs matter. You are the projector, not the screen. But Gnosticism cuts straight through that idea. It says the ego that believes it's in control is part of the trap. The voice in your head that thinks it's shaping reality. That may just be a mask built by the archons, spiritual forces of deception that bind you to the illusion. In the Gnostic view, you are not a mini-god in training. You're a divine spark that's been blinded, confused, and buried under layers of false identity. The world constantly pulls your attention outward, toward material success, pleasure, even spiritual ego. But all of it is designed to keep you asleep. So while the Kybalion tells you to embrace your power and reshape the world, Gnosticism warns that your very desire for control might be the chains you can't see. So are you a creator of your life, or a prisoner trapped inside a story you didn't write? In the next section, we'll explore how each path claims you can break free, and whether either of them actually works. So how do you actually live according to these teachings? What do they say you should do? The Kybalion lays out a method of transformation rooted in mental discipline. If everything is vibration, polarity, rhythm, then learning to work with those principles gives you real power. You can shift your emotional state, align with cycles, direct your energy. The ultimate tool is mental transmutation, the art of changing one state into another. Fear into courage, chaos into order, limitation into possibility. And here's where things get interesting. Modern physics may support this idea. The double-slit experiment, a cornerstone of quantum mechanics, shows that observation affects reality. Light behaves like a wave until it's measured. Then it becomes a particle. Consciousness seems to collapse the wave function. This is exactly what the Kybalion teaches, that mind precedes matter, and your awareness plays a role in shaping what manifests. But Gnosticism offers a completely different kind of path. It's not about mastering the illusion. It's about piercing through it. The Gnostic journey is one of inner awakening. Gnosis isn't intellectual knowledge. It's direct spiritual insight. A felt realization that the world around you is not the true reality. Practices vary: meditation, asceticism, symbolic rituals. But the goal is the same: to remember the divine spark within you and stop identifying with the false self built by the world. You don't try to improve the dream. You try to wake up from it. So while the Kybalion teaches you to become a conscious participant in the grand design, Gnosticism tells you that the design itself is the problem. In the next section, we'll examine what both of these systems might have overlooked, and what that means for anyone still searching for the truth. Here's what both teachings missed. The Kybalion offers power. The idea that your mind shapes your reality is liberating, especially in a world full of uncertainty. But there's a risk buried in that message. If all suffering is just a lower vibration, if pain is just a misunderstanding of polarity, then where's the room for compassion, for real-world injustice? This view can become dangerously detached, turning spiritual growth into a personal optimization project while ignoring the deeper structures that cause human suffering. On the other hand, Gnosticism sees through the illusion, but sometimes at the cost of wholeness. By rejecting the material world so completely, it can become nihilistic, even self-denying. It risks turning the body into the enemy and daily life into a distraction. Yes, it asks the right questions, but often leaves you with little to stand on besides withdrawal. In their extremes, both systems can distort your relationship with reality. The Kybalion can lead to spiritual bypassing. Gnosticism can lead to spiritual despair. What they both missed is integration. The world may be an illusion, but illusions have rules, and you still live inside them. Your thoughts may shape reality, but not all thoughts come from freedom. Some come from trauma, some from cultural programming, some from forces you don't even see. So the real work might not be choosing between control and escape, but learning to navigate the illusion without becoming lost in it, and without mistaking it for the truth. And here's the paradox. Both teachings are correct. There is a veil of illusion meant to keep you chained, and there are also real means to shatter it and rise. In the next section, we'll explore how to actually apply this, to live with clarity. Use your mind as a tool, and stay awake in a world designed to keep you dreaming. So where does this leave you? If the world is, in some sense, a veil, and if your mind plays a role in shaping what you experience, then the most powerful thing you can do is learn to see through, without falling asleep within. From the Kybalion, take this. Your state of mind matters. Your attention shapes reality. But it's not just about thinking better thoughts. It's about entering a coherent state where mind, body, and emotion align. Here's one practice that captures this entire principle. First, you breathe. Slow, rhythmic breathing calms the nervous system and stabilizes your inner state. It's how you take control of the vibration within. Then, you enter brain-heart coherence. You focus not just on the mind, but on the feeling, gratitude, love, presence. When your thoughts and emotions move in harmony, you create a unified internal field. This is the engine of true manifestation. Only then do you manifest. Not by forcing outcomes or begging the universe, but by aligning your internal state with the frequency of what you seek. In this state, you are no longer separate from your intention. You become a match for it. This is the core of mental transmutation. You don't fight the illusion. You shift yourself within it, and the illusion begins to move. But from Gnosticism, take the deeper caution. Not everything you think or feel is truly you. Some desires are implants, some fears are echoes. What you call yourself may have been shaped by layers of programming designed to keep you distracted. This is where awareness becomes protection. Self-inquiry becomes a weapon. Ask, who is thinking this thought? Who benefits from this reaction? What am I being pulled toward, and why? Together, these two teachings offer a map and a compass. The Kybalion gives you the tools to navigate the illusion. Gnosticism reminds you to question whether the map is even real, and the path forward. It's not blind mastery. It's not blind rejection. It's lucid participation. Live consciously, question everything, and when you shape your reality, make sure it's you doing the shaping. You've seen how one path teaches you to master the illusion, and the other warns you to see through it. But this journey doesn't end here. Want to go deeper into the self? This video is your next step.